I died for a moment, if you could tell. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good day to everybody. And, you're gonna notice that there's something a lot different than normal. I mean, despite long hair, full beard, Vivi's still there, jacket when it's hot as fuck outside. Now, the thing that's gonna be well known, or just one of those things that's gonna be well, like, different, is that, yeah, you could see down there, my name changed. I'm still Levy. But it's like, my name's Iveega, but you can call me Levy. It's one of those weird stories about how 2 hours of sleep, just two measly hours of sleep, and then you pronounce EVGA Iveega and you get roasted for it. To the point where you have to rebrand your whole channel. So the Amish man, even though I still have almost the Amish beard going, it changed to Iveega. And honestly, I think Iveega is a little bit more interesting. At least my name gets out there a little bit more, but you know, what can you do? But this is just, besides the random little update of where I've been, I have been busy. For the past 2 years since I last uploaded anything, back in the early days of like back when the pandemic was like a big thing, and we'll probably mention that later, sometime later in this video. I was with somebody, and then last month they left me because I I don't know. Times change. But then I started reconnecting with some other people, and someone made a good point that I was really well good, and they actually liked the videos of me just pointing a camera down at my desk or at a table. That one that looked like that one desk, show clip here of having like a weird war zone. And then the other ones where I just had like table. And it was just all in like a camcorder. It was something like this, but my old camcorder broke, and this one isn't that real good anymore. But I will say this. With loss comes rebirth, and with rebirth comes opportunity. As you can see right here, I am now with somebody that actually is a well-known photographer, and I love her so much, she actually let me borrow her camera for a bit. And honestly, it's a Canon. That's a good thing. Canons are really good cameras. But like Jesus, it's like I'm surprised she let me borrow it. But without further ado, I'm just gonna snap my fingers and commits, which is kind of late, and that is the game pickups of 2020 and 2021. Snap my fingers. Here we go.
And thankfully, this isn't a table or my old desk, as someone pointed out, but this is my somewhat desk, which is essentially an end table with a drawer, as you can hear right there. And also, my keyboard is right there. But anyways, I'm going to start off with the games that I purchased in 2020. Now, I already mentioned this before. I never got a chance to do this, but yeah. So keeping up with my traditional fashion, I ended up going with the least amount bought, then the most. And strangely, the only ones that I bought the least of were Switch for 2020. But I'm going to start off with the Wonderful 101 Remastered. The only reason why I bought it for the not PS4, but the Switch, was because that's what this game was on originally. It was on a Nintendo console, the Wii U. That one console that nobody really gives a shit about anymore, but people love to bring it up and say that the Wii U had potential. Me being one of those people. But Wonderful 101, it's actually good. Like, it's not my favorite out of Platinum. Like, that would go for Bayonetta and Metal Gear Rising. Vanquish I've not played yet, but I'm going to. I own it twice. But yeah, this game is not that bad. Honestly, I would put this in my top, maybe bottom of top 10 of best Platinum games. I'll just move them right here. All the games are going to go right on this side. Next up is See the Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I fucking love this. This game was really good when I played it originally, back when it was Harvest Moon. But now it's under Story of Seasons, you know, the company or the game that took over the Harvest Moon brand, but changed the name because Natsume took control of the name. But this game is really good. Like I mentioned before, I really enjoy this game. This game brings back a lot of nostalgia for me. But going inside, the reason why I like it so much, notice something? Besides, you know, the friends, and then friends, you can play as both boy and a girl. Notice that it comes with an instruction booklet telling you how to play this game. You know, something of yesteryear, that if you want to know how to beat the game or want tips, you look it up in here, Game Facts. Now, it just has nothing. Like, I'll bring back this game, for example. See, nothing. No instruction booklet at all. At least I'll give them props for that. But yeah, I would say this is actually a good remake. Yeah, remake or reboot, whatever you want to call it, of this game. But it's not... Sorry, but Stardew Valley kind of really tainted my love for farming sims by making it so much better. And next up is part 1 of the Duality of Man, which was Animal Crossing. You know, if you want something violent and you want to, you know, beat somebody with a crafting table, with a hammer, especially this motherfucker. Animal Crossing New Horizons was surprisingly good for what it was. For what it was worth, it was really fun. But it's one of those games that, as time goes on, even though there's more stuff for it, like, you know, the Happy Home Designer DLC that they released last year in 2021, it's not that bad. But it's one of those games that you really have to play with friends, if you have any. But this game was definitely needed last year, well, not last year, but 2 years ago, because the world was under a lockdown. And funnily enough, I went to GameStop to get this. But anyways, I'm going to move on to Slay the Spire. Now, this is my second version of this game, because Slay the Spire is actually pretty fucking good. It's a card game. That's also a roguelike. You see right there, you pick your own attacks, and you build your deck. But sadly, other games like Inscription took control of that. But this is still in my top card games, like games that are roguelike but card building, deck building, that's what they call it. It's deck building, that's what this is. It's a deck building game, and honestly, I can't thank this game enough, and I need to go back to play this game again. Paper Mario, the Origami King. Now, honestly, this game surprised the fuck out of me. Like, when I heard there was another Paper Mario game, and it was exactly like Color Splash, and I'm going to open this up just for posterity's sake. When I heard it was just like Sticker Star / Color Splash, I thought, oh hum, Paper Mario's lost its way, huh? But I heard from people that owned it and played it. They said that this game was easily in the top 3. And I'm like, why? Why is this in the top 3? And then I did more research. The writing's better, visuals are better, the soundtrack is banger, and most importantly, the story's a little bit better. That's the funny thing, because Sticker Star, the story was very meh. Color Splash improved on the writing, but the story's meh. But the story for this is actually good. And honestly, I kind of like this. I'm starting to put this in my top 3. Like, if I had to say my top 3 Paper Mario games, it would be, the first one definitely will be Thousand Year Door, then the original, the first one, and then this one. So yeah, this game was really good. I actually need to go back to playing this more and actually beat the whole game. I think I got halfway through and I stopped because of other games. Like this one. Motherfucking Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity. Now, as I would say this time and time again, a lot, and guess what? I got the keychain because this was actually a birthday gift for my brother, because he asked me what I wanted for my birthday last year. Or not last year, 2 years ago, and he asked me if I got this game, and I told him no. He told me not to buy it, because he already got this ready. Got this ready for me. And honestly, as much as I don't care for Breath of the Wild, I like this one. It's a good prequel to Breath of the Wild. It gives more backstory to what happened with the characters of Link, Zelda, Impa, like all the characters from Breath of the Wild. And also that little egg. Nobody likes that egg, but I don't care. One of the best games of 2020. And luckily, we're actually going to move on. We're actually close to the end of this. Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics. Now, honestly, I remember playing this game a lot with my ex and getting my ass kicked in Mancala, but I kicked hers right back. Anyways, this game is actually, it is what it is. It's essentially card games, tabletop games, but done via Switch. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this game, it's not that bad. This is actually not a bad collection, but would I go back to playing this? Maybe. Maybe with someone else. Maybe, I don't know. It's a good party game, I'll say that much. And the last game, Prinny 1-2, Exploded and Reloaded. Now, this comes with 2 fucking games in one. And, yeah, there's the games right there. There's Prinny, Can I Really Be the Hero? And Prinny 2, Dawn of Operation Panties Dude. Yep, you heard that title right. I am not exaggerating this. Operation Panties Dude. But the game was not that bad. Like, it was a good port. But I honestly would like to see this on, like, PS4, PS5, that type of thing. Because, honestly, it focuses more on Sony aspects. But I think the reason why they did the Switch was because, you know, NES loves to make games for Disgaea more for the Switch than anything else. But anyways, I think, honestly, the Disgaea series kind of ran its course a little bit, but I still want to try 6. I mean, the demo was fine, but, you know, it could be a lot better. Anyways, we're going to move on to the most games I picked up 2 years ago, which was PS4. You know, because that was the year when the PS5 was coming out, and most lucky motherfuckers got a hold of a PS5, but meanwhile I stuck with PS4. And I still have a PS4, because 2022, it's still hard to come across a fucking PS5. Anyways, let's move on. Sakura of Rice and Ruin. Honestly, this game will actually surprise the fuck out of me, honestly. Now, this is an action RPG, but it deals with farming. Now, imagine that, a game that actually deals around farming that is an action RPG. Kind of like the same aspect of like something of Muramasa, but not really. But also, the one thing I will definitely say that's really good, just like Story of Seasons, Friends of Battlefront, this instruction booklet. You know, who would have fucking thought that this is old school, but it's so good. Honestly, I like games when they have that. Other than that, I would say that this game is pretty good. I need to go get back around to finishing it, but time will tell. Next up is Miles Morales, or Spider-Man Miles Morales. Honestly, this game was not that bad. Like when I played it, but then again, I platinumed this game within a week. And the only good thing about this game is because, look right there, PS5 upgrade available. And also I get suits too. But honestly, like looking at this, like the original cover art, or essentially, no, not that, but yeah, this, it just reminds me so much of the original Spider-Man for the PS4. But honestly, this game actually made me go back and play the original, or not the original, but the first Spider-Man game for PS4. And honestly, this game just makes me excited for Spider-Man 2. But if it's only for PS5, that I'm going to be shit out of luck for that one, unless I actually do get a PS5. But here's hoping. Honestly, that was actually one of my favorite games of last year. Or 2 years ago, sorry. I keep thinking it's 2020, not last year, but it's actually 2021 last year. Dah. Moving on is actually the second part of the Duality of Man, a peaceful game known as Doom Eternal. Yeah, you know, Doom Eternal, where where it's all like fun and it's an action game and it's peaceful and it's ready to end for blood and gore and intense violence. You know, raise hell. Yeah, that's essentially the peaceful game that you want. But anyways, Doom Eternal. Honestly, Doom Eternal was actually not that bad. Like, honestly, like I said, this was like the best Duality of Man ever. Like, but there's one little thing that I will give Bethesda, which ruined the fucking joke, which was they released this game a day early. Because a lot of people were getting both games on the 20th of March, 2020, and they didn't want people to get Corona that much. Or, excuse me, Coroni. But yeah, that's essentially it. I think it's one of the better games of 2020. Following with Crash Bandicoot 4, it's about time. Now, truth be told, I heard a lot of great things about Crash Bandicoot, and I heard that the fourth one was no exception. An original story with a different developer instead of Vicarious Visions. It's Toys for Bob. And honestly, Toys for Bob did a good job with this game. Although I need to go back to finishing it. Because I got distracted with other games and blah. And then starting off with one of the games that should have won Game of the Year 2020, besides Hades, is Ghost of Tsushima. Or Ghost of Tsushima, whichever you want to prefer to call it. I know I don't have the collector's edition of this game, but this game is really good. And also, that's, actually, I didn't even notice that mask. It's actually well done. But anyways, Ghost of Tsushima was actually really good. It's a lot better, well written. The people that developed this, or the people behind it, became ambassadors of, I think it's Okinawa? I don't know. I'll put a, thing right here that says if it is or not. But they did a really good job with Ghost of Tsushima. And honestly, I am not surprised. But then again, what really baffled me is that Last of Us Part 2, or The Snores of Us Part 2, actually won Game of the Year. But that game really fucking sucks. And that's one game I'll never fucking own. And if I do get it later down the road, I will use this clip to say that otherwise. Moving on is Mafia Definitive Edition. Now, and yes, it does come with a sleeve, but honestly, I think the sleeve actually makes the game look a little bit more shiny. But moving on, Mafia 1 Definitive Edition was not that bad. It's pretty fucking good. It's a good remake, honestly. And honestly, it became my favorite Mafia game besides 2. Although what they did with 2 for the PS4 was kind of unforgivable, in my opinion. Making it an HD port rather than a remake like this. But they might do it later down the road. And Hangar 13 did a really, really good job. That's all I gotta say. They did a really good job. Next is Resident Evil 3 Remake. Now, this remake was not that bad. I know they cut out some certain parts of it, but it's not that bad as most people say it is. But the one thing that does suck about it is Resistance. Resident Evil Resistance is a bad mode. I don't like it, and I wish they would not put that back in any of the future retellings or future Resident Evil games. Next up is Yakuza Like a Dragon, or Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon. Now, honestly, a lot of people don't like this game very much, or some people don't, because they don't like the change of gameplay from action beat 'em up or beat 'em up style RPG, well, RPG in quotes, to actual RPG. But the one thing I will say is that this is actually a nice steelbook. I'm not gonna lie. See, nice steelbook, nice and shiny too. Well, honestly, I will say this: since this is the Ichi steelbook, because Ichi in Japan is 1. Honestly, I like the characters in this. I like Ichiban. Ichiban is a really, really good character, and his side characters that go alongside him are really well done. The story, it has that same Yakuza style of story where it takes itself seriously when it comes to the main story, but when it comes down to, side content, it does not take itself seriously. Honestly, this and Ghost of Tsushima were my game of 2020, as well as Hades, but I don't have a physical copy of Hades, not yet, but I will. Actually, if they actually made a physical copy of all their games, I would definitely own them. But let's move on to Star Wars Squadrons. I was hoping that this game would play like Rogue Squadron. I was going to say Renegade Squadron, but that's actually the PSP game, Battlefront. But yeah, I thought this was going to play like Rogue Squadron, but the problem with it is, you can see right there, cockpit mode. That's all this is. You see through the first-person view of a cockpit. I think it's just because they can sell the PS VR. I have that, but... Or I point up there. I do have the VR. It's just that I don't have the chance to actually get around to doing so. That, and they actually made this game for free on PlayStation Plus, which is a big kick to the balls for people that actually bought this physically. Next up is Death Stranding. Moving on. And then there's Sackboy. I was going to say Stranding Boy. Sackboy, A Big Adventure. And guess what? Yeah, ta-da. PlayStation upgrade. And I know what a lot of people are going to say. Why did I get the PS4 version and not the PS5 version? Well, PS4 version was the only one that had this little adorable thing. You know, the Sackboy plushie. And honestly, when it comes to plushies like this, I'm a big sucker for it. And it's actually a well-done little plush. But I'm going to put him back with the rest of the Sackboy Squadron. But yeah, Sackboy Big Adventure, I'm surprised about this game. Like, it looked like Mario 3D World. It's like Mario 3D World, but it's actually done in a style of Little Big Planet. You know, collecting orbs, collecting items. And it actually has some good musical soundtracks with this. So, yeah. And also, it doesn't really say anything about it. But the Sackboy costumes, I know for a fact it had Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima. Oh, yeah, Ghost of Tsushima. Jin. The guy from Days Gone. Yeah, Days Gone. Norman Reedus' character for Death Stranding. And it also had Connor for Detroit Become Human. And honestly, those costumes are really good. And this game actually surprisingly gets more costumes. I think recently they had the Easter Bunny costume. But then they had Lost in Random, which kind of makes no sense. But, yeah, at least they have costumes for this game. This was another one of those games that was really good last year, or 2 years ago. Next up is Persona 5 Royal. Honestly, I'm going to be brutally honest. I've never got a chance to getting around to playing Persona 5 Royal. I think it was because of the grind fest known as Persona 5. But I will say this. Steelbook is nice. That's all I gotta say. We'll just move it on to that. I will get around to playing this, but it has to be on one of those days where if I'm really sick from not going into work and just, you know, have something to do. Next up is Dreams. Now, Dreams is actually not that bad, surprisingly. Like, it's essentially, it has the same premise like Little Big Planet, but it deals a lot with creating games, creating worlds. And this actually does really fucking good on that. And yeah, even it's from the creators of Little Big Planet, but they also forgot to say because Media Molecule. They also forgot to say the creators of Tearaway, because honestly, Tearaway was a really good game. It's a shame that the reimagining for PS4 didn't get that much love, but who's to say, really? But yeah, Dreams is not that bad. I actually need to go back to see if the Dead Space game that someone made is actually fully done. Because I might do a series of that for like a Dreams run. I don't know. Just something random. Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. The enhanced editions. Honestly, I never really played Baldur's Gate. This game was on sale and I thought to give it a try. I did. When I was really tired, got a little bit bored. And I just kind of put this to the side. But anyways, I'll give it a chance every once in a while. It's an old game. appease some old people out there. Neo 2. I still need to finish Neo 1. I only bought this because it was $10. That is all. But I heard Neo 2 was actually really good. A little bit better than 1, but I heard people say that 1 was a little bit better. But that's give or take situation. Battlefield 4. Honestly, when I was with my ex, her brother gave me this because he doesn't really play on PlayStation 4. That's all. Journey to the Savage Planet. I was about to say Journey to the Strange Planet. This game just reminds me of so much of fucking No Man's Sky, but with stages of capitalism. Like, it's not bad. It's not good. It's not. I wouldn't say it's not good. It's not bad, but it's one of those games that you have to spend a lot of time on this. And if you can actually get the deal, and there's DLC for it. If you actually get the DLC and play it, that's one thing. But who's to say, really? Tony Hawk, Pro Skater 1 and 2. This was one of the games that Vicarious Visions, or there it is, right there, Vicarious Visions, they worked on this, and I'm not gonna lie, this game is actually pretty fucking good. I'm not a big fan when it comes to skateboarding games, unless it's Ollie Ollie, like any of the Ollie Ollie games, but Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 is actually really good. I actually got around to enjoying this. Either that, or it's because Jules speedran that game and got the world record for N64. Now, honestly, if he did that for this, I would be surprised. And, yeah, there's nothing in there. It's just a game disc. But yeah, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. Great game. Good time killer, too. Also, killer soundtrack. Next up is Destroy All Humans, the remake. Honestly, the remake for this game is actually really well done. It has the same, I think it has the same voice actors that came back for this, or it's just like the audio clips of it. I could be wrong, but it's a really good remake. And it was done by Black Forest Games. I believe they're the same people that made the Gianna Sisters Twisted Dream game. And I think they were also behind Bubsy, one of the future Bubsy games. But anyways, this game is actually pretty good. I honestly do recommend this, and I hope to God the remake for 2 comes out so I can play that. Next up is Grand Blue Fantasy. Now, honestly, I don't know jack shit about Grand Blue, but I actually really enjoyed the characters and the gameplay for Grand Blue Fantasy. This is the Versus, this is the fighting game. Although, granted, I need to play the RPG mode, which is essentially story mode. But yeah, this game, I need to get back to playing it. I heard as an online fighter, it's not as good as like Tekken 7 or Guilty Gear Strive. It's not good as all those, but it does what it does. Moving on, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Honestly, this game could have been better. It's not a bad game, but it could have been a lot better. That's all I really gotta say. And the last game that I purchased of last year, or 2 years ago in 2020 is Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big Final Fantasy fan. Or Final Fantasy VII fan. I love Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy IX is still my favorite, followed by 6. But when it came to Final Fantasy VII, I'm not a big fan of the original Final Fantasy VII. But Cactuar summoning material. Like, honestly, the whole thing with Final Fantasy VII, the remake actually opened my eyes to the game. I think it became one of the better games that came out of 2020. Honestly, I don't think the soundtrack was that good, though, compared to Hades, but for what it was, this game is really well done. The voice cast they got was great, and the gameplay was better. And just honestly, I like the game for its storytelling, even though I think it just says it right there. Look, the story, it takes place within Midgar and escaping from Midgar. 10% of the original game, from what I was told. So yeah. But it was pretty fun and enjoyable. I'm hoping they don't make Final Fantasy VII Part 2 just for PS5. And before we move on to 2021, a mistake was made. There was also 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, or Aegis Rim. Aegis is more my thing. But yeah, I completely forgot about this game. I thought this game came out in 2021. but it came out in 2020, and I actually did buy this in 2020. And the sad thing is, or the funny thing about this, is that it comes with an art book. It actually is a detailed little art book. It has all the characters in it. And it still has well, I'm not going to show all of the art book because it's spoiler reasons. But it does have Vanillaware's charm to it. But the only thing I could say about this game that's it's not their best. It's not their best work, honestly. I honestly think that their best work was Muramasa, preferably Muramasa Rebirth, and a little bit of Dragon's Crown, but I'm leaning towards Muramasa. But, yeah, this game, it's fun for what it was worth, though. It does deserve any praise that it got last 2 years ago. So now we're moving on to 2021, and honestly, it's reversed. In 2020, I bought a lot of PS4 games, but barely any Switch games. This last year, I bought a lot of Switch games and not a lot of PS4 games. But we can just move on from that. So I'm going to start off with the first one that's on here, which is Resident Evil Village, or Resident Evil 8 Village. Either or, it's still the 8th one in the series. Honestly, I think this game was a little bit better than the 7th one, or the game before it. And quite honestly, and then there's that. It did the same bullshit as they did with Resident Evil 3 Remake. But honestly, I don't really give a shit about the side shit that they throw in there, but this game wasn't that bad. It was good. Honestly, it's not my cup of tea when it comes to Resident Evil, though, but my personal favorite being 4, but, you know, it does a lot better than 7. Moving on is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Moving on. Next up is Persona 5 Strikers. Now, honestly, I was surprised that they were making a sequel to Persona 5, besides Royal being the definitive edition. Persona 5 Royal, or not Royal, but Strikers actually did a really good job on capturing the same feel as Persona 5. Instead of it being an RPG, it became a Muso game, kind of like what they did with Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, that type of thing. But this game is actually really enjoyable. I just need to get back into playing it, and, you know, all the other Muso games that I own, like Dragon Quest, Warriors, Fire Emblem Heroes, because, you know, the new Fire Emblem Warriors, I was supposed to say Heroes, the new Fire Emblem Warriors games coming out this month, or not this month, but this year. But I need to get around to playing all the other ones that I haven't tried yet. Next one is Nier Replicant, or Nier Replicant version 1.22474487139 ... The Nier Replicant is actually a good remake of Nier 1. In the same kind of art style as Nier, you know, because it almost has the same type of, you know, backdrop as Nier Automata. You know, funny enough, Nier Automata, or Automata. I always called it Automata. That's just the way I pronounced it. It's a good remake of it. Honestly, I think that this was a better remake, but I'm the same pattern that I have with the other few games that came out in the past and the year before the last, was that I hadn't really got a chance to play most of them, but I need to change that. Biomutant. I was one of the people that bought this day one, because I actually had high hopes of this game. I thought this game was actually going to be good, and there's nothing inside. I thought this game was going to be good. It had an interesting premise, and honestly, I like the way the creature looks, because look at that face. You can't say no to that face. But yeah, I tried playing this game, I got a little bit bored, and I dropped it, but I kind of want to go back to finishing this game. I heard it's not that long, but you have to know what you're doing. Dissidia, Final Fantasy NT, or is actually what it's called. Dissidia Final Fantasy NT, not NFT, NT. This game is not the best Dissidia game. I still go with Dissidia Duodecim, or Dissidia 012 Duodecim, or Duodecim, whatever. The weird titles that they have. Dissidia 2. I hate how Square does that a lot. How they add weird fucking titles. Like Nier Replicant version, whatever. But this one, it's okay. Like, visuals are not that bad, but it could have been better. That's all I gotta say. Alan Wake Remastered. Honestly, when I heard this game was being remade or remastered, I got excited because I actually really enjoyed Alan Wake, and including Alan Wake's American Nightmare. But I'm also happy that they're doing an Alan Wake 2. That makes me happy because this is an underrated gem. If you can get past the controls and the weird graphic, like textures and all that, this game is really good. It's like Twin Peaks meets, I was going to say Silent Hill, but Stranger Things, not really. Fuck, it's Twin Peaks meets Stephen King. There you go. That's how I was trying to get at. Stranger Things, meh. Next up is Cyberpunk 2077. Moving on. Guardians of the Galaxy, or Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy. Honestly, this was one of the games that I did not expect to enjoy. Like, honestly, I thought this game was going to be very, very bad. Just like Avengers. But this game was a little bit better. Plus, it actually has, you know, become Star-Lord. All new story and, save the universe. But this game actually is a lot better. Like, had to get past Quill's fucking looking ass, but I don't know. I didn't like the character designs at first, but they grew on me. And honestly, this was actually a really well done game. I still need to finish it. Next up was the Game of the Year winner of last year, which was It Takes Two. My only problem, I got this when I had my ex, and she didn't want to play this with me. I tried getting other people to play this. They didn't want to play with me because of this company, even though this company improved with this one. I've actually seen a lot of people play this. It looks fucking fun. Why can't I play with anybody? Up next is Scarlet Nexus. Scarlet Nexus is not that bad. It's not the best, but it's not that bad either. Honestly, like, the whole premise of it's very good in a weird way. I don't know if saying weird is anything, but it's a really good game. But I need to get back to playing it because, you know, I had a lot of other games to play. Lost Judgment. So, a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but one person would not shut the fuck up about Lost Judgment. And yeah, Lost Judgment is not a bad looking game from what I've seen, but I'm not touching this game. I bought it, but I'm not going to touch it. A lot of people are going to say that I'm fucking weird for this, but I don't care. Like, I'm not touching this game just yet until I beat the first Judgment. That's all. Then I'll give you my full thoughts on Twitter. Yeah, follow me on at twitter.com/@Iveega. New Super Lucky's Tale. This game was cheap. I heard this game was okay. With the new version, I heard the original was not that great. I played this game, platinumed it, never looked at it ever again. Until just now. And now it's over here forever. Assassin's Creed Origins. Now, honestly, I heard Assassin's Creed Origins was actually really well done. One of my friends who I was in a podcast with, I will link that below, he actually said that this game was actually really well done. For an Assassin's Creed game, it was really good. Especially how it takes place in Egypt, and it tells the backstory of the fucking assassins. But yeah, I actually need to get around to playing this one too. But I've been preoccupied with other games. Other games that came out in this year, the year 2022. And the last game that I bought of 2021 was Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne. Now, a lot of people that I'm friends with, they actually have been playing this game a lot, and they are saying the same thing. It's hard, but it's really good. And I need to actually play it once I get off my ass. Off of work. And do so. And now we come at the crossroads, where we are finishing up the year 2021 with Switch games, because I bought a shitload of them last year, and honestly, I'm not including physical or digital PS4 games, because, you know, if it's not physical, it's not in the game pickup video, and if I did do digital pickup videos, holy fuck, this would probably to be about 2 to 3 hours long, because I have to go through all the games that I bought, and have fucking fun with that. But I'm not doing that. I only do physicals. Speaking of physical, starting with the first one. Mario Golf Super Rush. Now, honestly, it's a Mario Golf game. It's good. They brought back the story mode. Kinda, but it's not as good as from what I heard. And I heard the animations are just not that interesting. Because I played another Mario Golf game for the 3DS, and that one had better visual flair. That's what I'm going with. Visual flair. But yeah, this game, it's not bad for what it is, but it's not the best either. Another one is WarioWare Get It Together. Yeah, get it together, camera. Look. Yeah, it's WarioWare Get It Together. Now, honestly, I was surprised with WarioWare Get It Together because they changed the algorithm of the minigames. Yeah, I know there's, micro games. But yeah, the micro games on this are not that bad. Although, granted, I don't like how you have to control the characters. I wish that you could actually go back to like WarioWare Smooth Moves or something like that. But yeah, this game is not that bad. Honestly, it's a little bit better than Gold in my opinion, but for what it's worth, it's pretty good. It's like a 7 out of 10 for me. Not including that in the fucking video. Jesus. Next up is No More Heroes 3. Honestly, when they announced that they were going to make a No More Heroes 3, I was flabbergasted. And I was happy. Because Travis Touchdown was the best. And is one of the best characters in the fucking universe. But also, it was a big step up. Because No More Heroes 3 was definitely needed after Travis Strikes Again. No More Heroes indie game type thing. I was about to say something else with it, but it's like Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes. But No More Heroes 3 is actually a better game. Honestly, it's not if I can say this with full honesty, it's not as good as 2, but for what it's worth, it's a lot better than Travis Strikes Again. But that's saying a lot. But then again, go figure, right? Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin. Now, honestly, I didn't mind the first one that much for the 3DS, but I never really got a chance to... I got the chance to play the first one, but it's just... But the second one was actually not that bad. It's a better improvement, like visually and everything like that. This game is actually pretty good. It's very underrated, but is it as good as Monster Hunter Rise? Honestly, I think Monster Hunter World is a lot better than Rise, but then again, I also thought that Monster Hunter Freedom Unite was a lot better. And that's not saying much. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. Again, this was one of the games that my brother gave to me on my birthday. I actually wanted to get Shining Pearl because kind of like a sweet, tender spot to it, I guess. Like, kind of like a sweet personal stories that whenever I was growing up, when I was in intermediate school, my brother got Diamond. Pokemon Diamond for the DS, and I ended up getting Pearl because that was one of the things I was hoping he would do. And it's a good remake, or, you know, what I'd call it, a remake, or, yeah, I would say remake, maybe HD remake, I don't know, but I actually really enjoyed this for what it's worth. But I'm surprised that he got me Diamond, though. I was hoping that he would get me Pearl, and then I play him against him with Diamond, his Diamond. But yeah, you take that out of context. I'm just going to move on to the next one, which is Bravely Default 2. Now, honestly, I forgot to mention this with fucking Guardians of the Galaxy. I got that when it was on Black Friday sale. This was one of them. Bravely Default 2 was on sale for $26, while Guardians of the Galaxy was $30. And Bravely Default 2, when I played the demo of this game, I actually didn't like the demo, but as soon as I played the actual game itself, they improved it a lot. That's all I gotta say. It improved a shitload. Kind of like what they did with another game that came out that shares the same font and kind of the same lazy art style. But the art style is actually nice. The drawings are nice. But honestly, I think the other game that I'll cover in my other pickup video later down the road in 2023, then I'll tell you. Shin Megami Tensei 5. Now, honestly, I'm going to say this for the record. I like this art. I like this steelbook. I think the steelbook is really well done. It's nice and shiny. But I'm just going to move on. Fun fact about this, I couldn't find a single fucking copy of Shin Megami Tensei 5. Everyone was playing it. Everyone said it was really good. I wanted to try it for myself. And I found this copy. I found the fucking... I found this version of it. I found the steelbook, and it was used at GameStop because I went everywhere, and GameStop was my last hope, and I found this, and I only paid half because it was originally $35. I think it was originally $50, but they were having a sale on pre-owned games. And I got this for $30. That surprised the fuck out of me. But yeah, Shin Megami Tensei 5 is a pretty good game. Honestly, it's not my favorite Shin Megami Tensei game, or yeah, that would have to be either Persona 5 or I know I'm one of those casuals, either Persona 5 or 4, or maybe the Shin Megami Tensei 4 because I actually played that one a lot. But I'm gonna move on. I need to actually get around to playing 5. Mario Party Superstars. Honestly, Mario Party Superstars was a pretty fun experience. I wouldn't know. It came. I don't know when the original Mario Party came out. If this was like maybe like a 25th anniversary, that would make a lot of sense. I know it's not though, but it's originally the old school Mario Party games from 1 through 8 and some of 9 and 10, and they just revamped the boards, revamped the games in this. The only complaint that I have with it though is that there's not enough characters in it, but what I hopefully Nintendo does, which they probably will, and they'll probably charge people money, is that they'll add more characters, more boards with more mini games. Like have like a bundle. It's like have one that's like Fair Square bundle. It'll have because it already has Daisy in it. It'll have like another character in it. Have another one where I'll have Toad. That type of thing. Koopa, Koopa Motel, you have Dry Bones. I don't know, I say Koopa Hotel. I think I just think of Runaway Guys because of that series. Moving up is Game Builder Garage. Honestly, I didn't want to get this game, but there's one little thing that this actually promised, and that is mouse support. That's right, mouse support. For a Switch game that you build games on. And honestly, it's not that bad. It's not as good as Dreams though, but it does its best. But then again, it just shows you like the mechanics of how to build a game. But honestly, I think Dreams was a little bit more better when it came to game creation because it had more freedom. Then again, that's what I think that Sony does kind of one up Nintendo when it comes to that. New Pokemon Snap. I've never played Pokemon Snap. I've seen people play Pokemon Snap. I hear people talk about Pokemon Snap. And they went apeshit when new Pokemon Snap was introduced. And I fell right in because I like some casual games. This is a quote-unquote rail shooter, but you're taking pictures of Pokemon. Need I say more? And also, it's pretty good. It's a casual game. That's all I gotta say. It's casual. Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. I never got a chance to play Bowser's Fury, but I need to. I had played mostly of that, but I heard Bowser's Fury takes like 2 hours to beat, but it's actually well done. It's actually really well done. It's like you're teaming up with Bowser Jr. to go against his dad. Oh, good lord. Look at it through the camera. It just looks fucking weird. Oh, shit. But yeah, Bowser's Fury looks fun, and the soundtrack I heard for Bowser's Fury is really fucking good. Miitopia. A lot of people remember this through the 3DS days. When Miitopia came out, it was one of those weird games that people played a lot. And they made up their own stories, they made up their own adventures, their own characters, they made their ex the villain, or called it something else. Like, they made something that was like pure cancer the villain. but this is a really good game. It's a good stream game, if I have to say so myself. But I need to get mild language, really, for this game? For a Nintendo game? Heh. The other thing, I'm not surprised they actually have that in like Fire Emblem, where they say "damn hell." Shit. But anyways, Miitopia's fun. I actually need to go back around to doing more or something with that. Probably add more people in there and delete other people. Moving on, Puyo Puyo Tetris 2. Just like the first one, it has both Tetris and Puyo Puyo. And honestly, I prefer Tetris because Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine is one of those examples of Puyo Puyo. But I actually enjoy Kirby's Avalanche a little bit more when it comes to Puyo Puyo. Next up is Pikmin 3 Deluxe. This was one of those games I actually got when it was like $30. I got lucky with this because I honestly wanted to get this game. I love Pikmin. I wish they would make a Pikmin 4, but I know they won't. But Deluxe is actually really good. It is a good remaster of 3. Or a definitive version of it. But anyways, it's not that. It's actually pretty good. I actually need to go around to playing the other Pikmin games. The only ones I've actually finished was 1. I've never finished 2. I've never really finished 3, but I can with this. And I never finished Hey Pikmin. You know, that 2D, 2.5D scroller. Honestly, Hey Pikmin was just very, very meh. Deadly Premonition 2, A Blessing in Disguise. Oh, good lord, it would be a major fucking thing if it would focus. But then again, this game is actually, for what I have heard, this game is actually pretty mediocre when it comes to critics, but from what I've played of it, it's actually not that bad. Like, sure, there's some bugs and glitches in the game, but it's not that bad overall. It's sweary. And I know that Yahtzee put this as one of his worst games of 2020, but I don't really give a shit. Some games on that list are either justified or they're just pure ass for the sake of being ass. But, this game is actually not that bad. I wouldn't call it a guilty pleasure, but I would still give it the benefit of the doubt. Moving on is Mario 3D All-Stars. Now, honestly, I bought this because, fuck, I wanted to get this. Just so I can play Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy again. But there's a problem. They said that this was going to go out of stock on March 31st, 2021. And guess what? There's still copies of this in 2022. Sad how Nintendo's like, we're going to get rid of this, but if you have it digitally, yeah, fuck you. You get nothing. But if you want it physically, you can go right ahead and buy it. Isn't that just grand of Nintendo? But anyways, it's nice to have this, like a collector's item, such to play it on your Switch, but they might do more shit like this. They might do the same thing with Kirby. You never know. It's one of those things. Moving up is another game that I bought on sale, which was Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. Look, I know that Xenoblade 3 got booted way early. Instead of it coming out in September, now it's coming out in July. But I will say this, Xenoblade 1, really fucking good. I actually enjoyed Xenoblade 1. Xenoblade 2, it's okay. It's still enjoyable, but it's like, I still like the characters of 1 a little bit more. Dunban, Rhine, Flora, or Fiona, whichever. I think it was Flora, but I forget. And Shulk. But yeah, good quotes from this game. This is actually the better one. And I like the way that they did this, like the visuals for it. Like, hold on, let's see. If you can look at the visuals for it. It's right. Come on, focus, goddammit. Yeah, the visuals for this look a lot fucking better than they did on the Wii. And that's saying a lot, too. But we can just move on from that, which the one game that kind of deserved the Game Award for, I think, Best Action Adventure Game or Action Game, I think it was, Metroid Dread. When I heard this was a sequel to Metroid Fusion, I was stoked. because I saw the blue armor and I thought, holy shit, this is Metroid Fusion 2. And then they said Metroid Dread. And when it says face your fears, honestly, I don't know which is more frightening. Going up against the Emmys or fucking going up against an evil parasitic form of you. Honestly, I would kind of say, I kind of want to say both. There's 7 of them and 1 of the clones, but anyway, or copies. That's what it is, a copy. It did deserve what it got, and honestly, I still think it's fucking hilarious that you have someone like David Jaffe fuck up the room so bad that now he is a meme for Metroid Dread. But yeah, this was actually one of my favorite games of last year. And there were many other games last year, but they were mostly digital. I had a tweet that I made my 20 favorite games of last year because everyone was like, I'm doing my top 5, my top 10. I said, fuck it, I'm doing 20. But yeah. That is all for that. And snap my fingers, we'll go back to normal, so...
Oh, I see that you're back. You're back from watching, I don't know how many minutes and somewhat hours. I don't know if it's hours or not. I'm not a mind reader, but I'm not omniscient. I don't know what's going on, but those were my game pickups of 2021 and 2020. I know I got the years mixed up, but it's all good, bruh. But anyways, it comes to a great question. What's gonna be up with my channel now? Since I've made so many videos as an Amish man to now transitioning over to Iveega now. Now, I can tell you this much. I will say this. My name is Iveega, but you can call me Levy. And that is going to be my new way of explaining or expressing myself now because I had to think about how to introduce myself now. And honestly, my new header is different. So the only thing I have to do is just change everything else. But I'm still going to be Iveega. I'm still going to be Levy. And I hope to see you, all of y'all more in next content. Or whenever I decide to make new content. I'm actually going to have a poll sometime later. I'll probably link it below as well, down in the description. I'm going to probably do a poll of something that people might want me to see. Maybe do like a little test recording of something. I don't know. But until we meet again, goodbye, farewell, adieu. But most importantly, I will see you in the next video. Whenever that will be. Ta-ta.